The film starts on April 3, 2020, when a dangerous virus was spreading rapidly all over the world. Approximately 300,000 people came into its embrace. That's why curfews were imposed in America and other countries so that people do not leave their homes. After it, we see a boy in a food store who had come to pick up household goods. At that time, he receives a stranger's message who asks to party, then asks, "Who are you and why are you sending such a message?" Then the next person says something strange again, that if you have this virus, then we will not party. If you are safe, then the party will be done. Then he again asks him, "Who are you?" But he does not answer. Now when he goes to pay at the counter, the person behind him makes a picture of it. He gets scared to see this and was feeling strange. He thinks that someone is playing a prank on me by following me. He ignores this when he comes out to his car. The stranger calls him and asks that I had told you something about the party. Are you ready? Hearing this, he angrily abuses and disconnects the phone from his house. As he comes inside the house, we can clearly see that there is someone else in his house. There was a door open at home. As he closes it, a man in a mask attacks him. He puts the knife in his hand, which makes him injured, and he was in great pain. Then he pushes the killer and hides in the room to save his life. He takes a baseball bat out of his hand and goes out to face him while bandaging his hand. He starts looking for him, but the killer comes and grabs him from behind. He cuts his throat, which causes his death. Now the question arises, who was the killer? We will get the answer to this question later. Then we are shown the story a few days later, and we see a girl named Parker. She used the internet a lot and used to post on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere. Due to the curfew, she was fed up with staying at home, so she was going to go on vacation with her friend. Before going, she makes a picture of herself and she also puts the name of the place where she was going in the details. When both reach there, her friend named Miri is quite surprised to see her grand house. She says that your house is perfect for vacation. It is big and beautiful, which I really liked. On it, Parker replies, "My dad bought this house many years ago and I keep coming here with my friends for vacation." Then Parker also gets a message from an unknown number. "Are you having fun? Are you enjoying it?" On it, Parker also asks him, "Who are you?" But in return, that person does not go to the lake, and that unknown person again messages her that "I know you and your friend are enjoying near the lake." Seeing this, Parker is quite surprised and thinks, who is he who has come here following us? Now he is watching us. She also tells this to her friend Miri. On it, she replies that this is quite strange. "I think he is our friend who is making fun with us." When they were drinking together at night, a car stops outside the house. They go to the window and look outside, where a man comes out of the car, but he was wearing a hoodie coat so they can't see his face. That man knocks on the door. They ask, "Who is it?" But there was no answer. Parker feels this weird. She immediately takes out the knife and goes near the door, and as she slowly opens the door, there was none. But when her friend Miri turns around and looks, so there was her friend. Parker had also seen her. So in anger, she asks him, "What is this insolence?" But he replies, "No, I did not scare. When I just knocked at the door, I came in through the back door." Parker asks, "But why did you come here?" He says that when you put the post, I saw it immediately and I have actually come here to surprise you. Actually, Parker's friend says sorry to him, but Parker did not think so about him. She was a little different, who not only made friends with her, but also with many other boys. She says that you go away from my house right now because I and Miri have come here on vacation, so don't stay here. He says that I have come here after such a long journey just for you, so not now. I will leave tomorrow morning. Parker gives him permission to spend only tonight here. She was getting bored, that's why she starts dancing in the basement, which makes her tired. Her friend shows Parker a video that she uploaded on the internet when she was with the boy whom she met at the party. He asks, "Who is this boy and what is your relationship with him?" At the party, so that's why I have to make this friendship. Hearing it, he says this is wrong and how long will you keep doing this? I want to marry you and get rid of all these things. This can never happen what you are thinking. I just call you a good friend, nothing more than that. Saying this, she leaves and her friend feels bad and becomes sad. After a while, he opens the door and comes to his car to take necessary
And we see the
things.
masked man behind him, who was the killer, and he quietly opens the door and enters the house. So here, it is known that the messages that were coming to Parker, the masked man, the killer, was sending them. Parker's friend takes his stuff, comes back inside, and locks the door. Later, the three of them go to their places and sleep. When Parker was sleeping, the masked killer comes to her room, who steals her mobile and keeps it. In the same way, he goes to her friend's room and takes his mobile. In the middle of the night, when his friend opens his eyes, he becomes surprised to see his mobile missing. He was wondering who could do this. He comes down and starts looking for his mobile. Parker had just woken up, and when she also sees that her mobile is missing, she starts thinking, who can take my mobile? And she moves down. Then his friend catches her on the way and puts his hand on her mouth so that she will not make noise, and slowly tells her, "Listen to me carefully. Apart from the three of us, there is a fourth man in the house without calling who is dangerous. He is wearing a mask and also has a knife. Roaming around the house, so now take the key and go out in the car. I wake up Miri and send her too so that he does not harm you both." Hearing this, Parker gives her car keys and comes out of the window. Sitting in the car, she starts waiting for the two of them to come. From the window, she sees that the man in the mask is in Miri's room and about to end her with a knife. Now before us, he attacks her with knife. His friend comes. He then starts fighting with the killer, and by the time his friend tells Miri him to run away quickly, go and sit in the car outside. So she does this and immediately starts running towards the car. The two girls sit in the car and wait for their friend to come. After fighting with the killer, he starts running away from there, so the killer attacks him badly with a knife. Due to this, he becomes injured and starts bleeding. Then the door opens and the girls see that their friend is coming out. He is not fine and injured, and when she looks at his feet, she becomes astonished because he was hanging in the air. That's when the killer also comes running after him. The girls are scared to see that the killer has put a spear on his back and he is hanging in the air through it. Now it is obvious that he was in so much pain that he almost died there. The two girls start screaming and the car starts running away from there. That clever killer had punctured all the tires of their car. So she can't get out of her, but the car comes out of a tree and collides. They had an accident. As the car stops, the killer had come in front and attacks them with a brick. So the girls get out of the car and run away and came back inside the house. She goes to the room above to hide that was in front of the studio and closed the door tightly. But then the killer also came here and starts knocking at the door. As he opens the door and tries to come inside, and he falls down from the studio, but during this time, they got a chance to escape. Parker breaks the window and goes out of here and starts going towards the roof. She tells her friend to follow her, but when Miri was passing from there, the killer captures her from the window. He pushes her hard, with which she falls down, and that poor girl's leg was broken. She starts bleeding and becomes injured. Her condition is getting worse. Parker comes down and goes to the kitchen immediately to get the knife, but then the killer had also reached a knife in her hand, which makes her injured, but she still does not lose courage. She competes with him, but the killer hits her hard and beats her a lot, but in the meantime, Parker comes on top of him and puts a strong thing of steel on his head. His mouth starts bleeding and he immediately fainted. Seeing this, Parker takes a breath of peace because she felt that the danger was over. But when his eyes fall on the door, she becomes surprised because the other companion of this killer had also come inside. He thinks his companion is dead and starts crying, being sad. Parker immediately runs away from here and comes outside to her friend to check whether she is dead or alive. Then she finds out that Miri is still alive, only her leg is broken. Then she sees that the killer is screaming loudly and is coming to her. She tells Miri to close her eyes quickly and pretend to die. Saying this, she runs away from here and her friend does this. When the killer comes to her, he feels that Miri is dead, so he does not say anything and moves behind. Parker immediately gets on the boat and starts driving with the help of the jacks and had come a long way. And the killer does not come ahead and stops on the shore while Parker was constantly moving forward so that she can ask for help from her neighbor. After going a little far, she gets scared because she had come to know that the killer is in the water. He was following her and reached her boat. Now he starts attacking from below with the help of the knife. Due to this, a hole
once
is
the knife
formed in the
passes
boat through Parker's hand, and she feels a low of pain because of it. That's why she jumps into the water and starts
After
running
running
away
away
from there.
she
immediately reached her neighbor's house and goes
Her neighbor
inside
comes
with a gun and asks her, "Why have you entered the house, and who are you?" To which she answers in fear, "Uncle, I am Parker. Don't you recognize me? I used
Your
to play
neighbor.
with your
A
daughter.
killer
In
is
behind
childhood.
me, so call the police immediately, please." As the man goes to call the police, the killer comes from the front and kills that man. He takes her gun and starts shouting at Parker, but she does not get a
She
single
comes out
bullet.
through
The window and starts running away from there. Miri had come inside the house with her broken leg. She breaks the chair and tries to support her leg with wood. She then puts a bandage on it and makes a kind of plaster. Then she sees the masked killer, who is lying unconscious and has come to his senses. He also sees Miri and tries to end her while capturing her, but then she holds the knife from her side and stabs his neck. He starts bleeding and the killer dies. Parker runs and reaches the road, but the killer captures her. Meanwhile, Parker attacks his head and makes him faint. Then she stands up and starts stopping the car from the front. There was an old lady in that car who asks her what happened. "Are you alright?" And Parker tells her everything. She asks for help while saying, "Please make me sit in the car and take me away from here." But the lady replies, "I can't let you sit in the car without a mask." Then she gives her a mask and asks her to come inside. Parker gets faint as she comes inside while wearing the mask because that lady was the companion of the killer. And the mask she gave to Parker, there was medicine on it to make her faint. That lady makes the killer sit in the car and they leave. Miri sees from the window they bring Parker as their slave. So she hides in the kitchen to hear them, and they first check her virus, then make her come to her senses. She asks, "Who are you and what do you want?" On it, the lady and the killer remove their masks. Here we discover they are a couple, and the old man tells Parker, "The boy dead in the kitchen is our son. And this happened because of you. You snatched our both sons from us." Parker doesn't understand what they want to say. The lady says everyone was forbidden to leave their house when the virus came. But you didn't refrain and went to a party. Your report was positive and you met our son likewise. Virus transferred to our son. Later, it became the reason for his death. They were talking about the boy whom Parker met in the party. She also told her friend about him. They say, "Today you snatched our second son from us. Now you will also not be spared. We even have ended the man who caused this virus to spread." Hearing this, Parker says this is wrong. "I am not positive," but they show her report that was positive because of the virus. They say, "You are still lying. Why have you done this?" Miri takes the laptop secretly and sends a message to the police for help. But her message wasn't delivered, so she tries to contact her father. The old man realizes that someone is using Wi-Fi. He cuts the wires of Wi-Fi and goes to check, being suspicious. But Miri wasn't there. She was behind the old lady having a weapon in her hand and attacks her. They throw her out of the window and the lady gets faint, so now she escapes from there. But the old man becomes furious when he comes inside and sees his wife in this condition. He moves behind them to end them, but Miri cuts his foot with a knife. Parker also pushes him from the front. Due to it, he falls down and a sharp weapon stabs in him and the old man dies there. After it, they come out of the house and leaving from the garage. There was a car and they try to drive it. But there was no petrol in it, and when Parker moves inside the house to bring petrol, the old lady attacks her with an axe. She was about to end her, but then Miri attacks her from behind and the petrol in Miri's hands falls on the old lady. And Miri sets that old lady on fire while taking the lighter from her pocket, and she dies. They come out and see the police have arrived, and they come to save them because the message was delivered later. They were saved, and the story ends here.